Hi everyone, welcome to NetGate Chemistry. So today also we are going to solve two of the questions from electrochemistry part which are being asked in the CSIR NET exams. So the first question is aqueous solution of NaCl, CaCl2 and LaCl3 shows following plot of logarithms of mean ionic activity coefficient versus molar concentration. So basically we have been given a graph, right, and we have to identify which of the following plots are representing NaCl, CaCl2 and LaCl3, right. So they have given the plots names as A, B and C. Okay, so first of all, if you could remember this equation, or you can say the relation between mean ionic activity coefficient and the ionic strength. Now here what you are going to observe is we have mode of Z positive and Z negative. So now here what you can see is if we have suppose NaCl structure, so what happens as the electrovalency of the given salt increases, what happens, this whole value increases on increasing the electrovalency, right. So now basically we have to find out how the electrovalency values are changing in each of these three cases, right. So now you will be knowing that as this value of mode of Z positive, Z negative increases, so overall slope, what will happen with the slope, it will decrease. Why I'm saying decrease, because in this relation we have a negative sign. If this whole value increases, then the slope, or you can say this value, is going to decrease. Why? Because we have a negative relation between both of these two things, right. Now if you look at the concentration value, then you will be knowing that this value of I, or the ionic strength, that is equals to half of sigma mi zi square. Mi is the concentration, and here we represent concentration in the terms of molality. That is why this is the molality. Okay, so definitely the ionic strength is going to depend upon the Zi value. So basically we have to see the Z values. Okay, so if we look at the Z values, then what you will observe is that here we have Na at, if I dissociate this NaCl, it will be like Na positive and Cl negative. For CaCl2, it will be calcium 2 positive plus 2 Cl negative, and for LaCl3 it will be La3 positive plus 3 Cl negative. So here what you are observing in these three cases is that the electrovalency is increasing, right, from NaCl to CaCl2 and then to LaCl3. The value of electrovalency is increasing, right. Now for univalent electrolyte, for univalent electrolyte, you know that the value of this molality, that will be equal to I, right. You have studied about the univalent, bivalent, these type of electrolytes. We have studied in a very elaborate way in the electrochemistry, so you will be knowing this, that if we have univalent ion, for example NaCl, then value of this molality will be equal to I, right. I think this is clear that for univalent molecules or ions, so you can say for univalent salts, we have M is equals to I. So now we have to look for Z positive, Z negative mode values, right. So now here you have observed that from here till here, from NaCl to CaCl2 to LaCl3, the value of this mode Z positive, Z negative is increasing, right. On increasing this whole value, electrovalency increases, so overall slope will decrease. So that means NaCl will be having highest slope, followed by CaCl2 and LaCl3. So if I look at these three plots, then here plot A is having highest slope, so definitely it will correspond to the plot of NaCl. B will be CaCl2 and C will be LaCl3, right? So I hope this question is clear. We just have to find out the relation, right? So relation between ionic activity, mean ionic activity coefficient, and the molar concentration C. So we should know these two relation, this one and this one, and you should know the concept of univalent, bivalent and trivalent ions, right? So that way you will be knowing that from NaCl to CaCl2 to LaCl3 what happens, the value of electrovalency increases, so ionic strength also increases. As the electrovalency is going, if ionic strength will increase, then definitely log of gamma value will decrease, because both are having inverse relations. So that way you can find out the corresponding plots for these three solutions. Okay, so this is it for this question. Now we'll move on to the second question. Now the second question says that the equivalent conductance at infinite dilution of a strong electrolyte lambda naught can be obtained from the plot of. So basically here lambda is representing the equivalent conductance, right? So basically what we have to find out is the relation between lambda EQ and C, or maybe root of C or C square, that we have to locate. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, what you should know is this relation lambda m at concentration C equals to lambda m at infinite dilution minus B root C. This equation we have studied, right? And also we know one relation between lambda m and lambda EQ, that is lambda m equals to n times of lambda EQ. So what I'm going to do is, I'll just put this value over here. Okay, so now what I'm getting is n lambda EQ at concentration C will be equal to n lambda EQ at infinite dilution. Here also you can put, no, if this is at concentration C and this is at concentration infinite dilution, then lambda m at concentration C will be equal to n lambda EQ at concentration C, and lambda m at infinite dilution will be equal to n times of lambda EQ at infinite dilution. So we are basically putting these two values here and here. Okay, so we'll be getting minus B root C. Now dividing this whole equation by n, this is n factor, or you can also say the z factor, right? So this we have also studied. So now if I divide this whole equation by n, then what I'll be getting is lambda EQ at concentration C will be equal to lambda naught EQ minus B by n root C. Now what here you can observe is that here what we are getting is the relation, and here it is a constant. We are getting a relation between root of C and lambda EQ, right? So basically if we want to find out lambda EQ at infinite dilution, then also we have to plot a graph between lambda EQ and root of C, just like lambda m and root of C, right? In that, if we have lambda m root C graph like this, then we'll be having lambda EQ and root C graph like this, right? Here the slope will be more in case of lambda m, and here the slope will be less in case of lambda EQ. Okay, so how I'm getting the relation between this lambda naught EQ and root C, that we can observe after some rearrangement. So now I'm going to do some of the rearrangement like this. Now after this rearrangement, you can easily see the relation between this lambda naught EQ and root of C, which will be giving this type of a graph. But if you compare this graph of lambda EQ with lambda M, then what you will observe is that this one will be having more slope as compared to this, because here we are getting this constant value divided by n, right? So overall this is decreasing the slope, right? So that's why here the slope will be less as compared to this one, but the graph will be similar, right? It will be a straight line decreasing slope graph. Okay, so this way you can get a graph, right? So I hope this question is clear. So I think so far that's it for this video. In the next video also we'll discuss some of the previous year questions. Okay, so far that's it for this video, and thank you so much for watching.